everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm Nika and welcome back to part A of my Fnaf review series, where we will be reviewing the nostalgia trip that is Fnaf VR, also known as Fnaf Help Wanted. Now, how is Fnaf Help Wanted a nostalgia trip? Well, let's start the review and find out. Anyways, let's start with the story of Five Nights at Freddy's VR Help Wanted. Anyways, many years after FNAF 6 and Ultimate Custom Night, some random game developer decided to make some FNAF games based on the tragedies of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. And of course, Fazbear Entertainment does not like the bad reputation that the games are giving them, if they weren't already giving themselves a bad name in the first place. So they decided to fight fire with fire, no pun intended, to make their own FNAF VR horror game to poke fun at themselves, discredit the game creator, and of course, cash in on their own past mistakes, as you play as a beta tester for this game. Now, this is when the story tends to get fuzzy, as you also get a lot of lore in this game through VHS tapes, and that you learn later about previous game testers, but eventually have been brainwashed, which will lead us into, of course, the entity of this game, which is, of course, Glitch Trap. As if you didn't already know, Fazbear Entertainment, when they were making the game, they used coding from old Fazbear hard drives. And in one of those hard drives was a digital layout of William Afton's self-consciousness, which ended up manifesting itself into, of course, what we know as Glitch Trap, otherwise known in the game files as Malhair, which acts as the main antagonist as this game, as you later find out that he's been brainwashing each game tester before you, leading into, of course, the entity that is Vanny, who is known as a follower of Glitch Trap, aka William Afton, as Glitch Trap forces its own will over theirs, brainwashing them. So yeah, things are already pretty freaking creepy and really freaking dark, as we go from the whole child kill murder things and the lost souls into immediate brainwashing VR games and of course weird codes containing rabbits. So yeah, very freaking creepy. As you'll also learn that the game tester before you has left tapes for you hidden in the code of the game so it can never be found. But in doing this, she effectively gave Glitch Trap a place to hide in the game, which ended up with her getting brainwashed at the end of it. Meaning you, the player, have to find a way to fight back against this thing using the information that the previous game tester has given you in order to finally take out and get rid of or trap Glitch Trap within the game, in which you end up doing so at the very end of the game, trapping Glitch Trap into this game forever, and of course you not getting brainwashed by him. So yeah, that's pretty much the story of FNAF VR. It's really turns the FNAF lore on top of its head. Like, it's very different and makes all the child murderers seem very tame in comparison. Anyways, though, that's pretty much the main story of Five Nights at Freddy's VR. Let's get into some of the gameplay and mechanics, as a lot of the gameplay and mechanics are pretty much just the same as before, as this game is, like I said, pretty much a nostalgia trip, but in the form of VR, which is a fun way to do this, as it's a nostalgia trip, yes, but that's not a bad thing, as it even is, it's pretty much think of it as a fun nostalgia trip that also happens to be in VR, which makes it even more fun. Anyways, though, upon playing the game, you'll also see remastered VR versions of FNAF 1, 2, 3, 4 in the form of Night Terrors, excluding one of the Night Terrors minigames, and of course, animatronic repair, which is pretty much a expansion of what we saw in FNAF Sister Location with repairing Funtime Freddy and Baby. And then, of course, there is, of course, Dark Rooms, which is pretty much just fun with Plush Trap, fun with Balloon Boy, and then the whole Funtime Foxy Atrium Room run. So, yeah, with one exclusion there. So, this game pretty much is a nostalgia trip, remastering a lot of the old things that you've seen throughout the years, but of course, revamping them, and of course, being in VR. But this game also introduces a lot more unique mechanics and gameplay of its own. Of course, like I said, expanding on the whole Sister Location animatronic repair, making vent repair, which is its own thing, the exclusion of one of the Night Terror minigames taking place with you taking place in the FNAF 4 closet playing peekaboo with Baby, And then, of course, one exclusion in dark rooms where you must play hide and seek with the plush babies, as you must flash your light at them and hold it there until they leave, and you must hold them at bay until 6 a.m. So yeah, already off to a good start. This is already a good nostalgia trip. You pretty much are playing all the previous games and things that you've seen, but along with that, you're also seeing a lot of this new stuff, which really is really good for the game and really gives it its own name, and it's not a complete nostalgia trip, as it has its own unique gameplay in it as well. But of course goes the extra mile into creating a secret crazy world by flipping a switch, which pretty much makes all the games into more creepier, scarier versions of themselves, including making Five Nights at Freddy's 1 black and white, and also making the doors close up and open and close randomly for some reason. Of course, Fnaf 2 introduces the Wither animatronics again, as you will not actually see the Wither animatronics at all during your playthrough through Fnaf 2 in this game. But, of course, in this weird world, you get to actually play against the Wither animatronics, which is also really creepy, on a difficulty of easy, normal, or hard. Fnaf 3 is pretty much everything on fire, and aesthetic-wise, everything's pretty much just different aesthetic-wise. But as for some of the other differences in the minigames, as for the plush babies, they are now plush scrap babies, as all the plushies in the room actually become plush babies, making it very difficult to find which babies are the scrap plush babies. So, yeah, very freaking creepy. As, of course, in Fun with Plush Trap, you're a lot smaller. In Fun with Balloon Boy, there's a crap ton of balloons blocking your view. And then for Funtime Foxy's little run, she turns into Lolbit, and you'll also see a crowd of Funtime Freddy's and babies, as you must actually navigate through them as well, while avoiding Lolbit. And of course, Night Terror is being completely removed in general for one final climax to the game, being the birthday party, as you must make your way through a labyrinth of FNAF-like rooms, and of course, have to make it to your party in backstage, as you also have a time limit, because, well, if you take too much time, Freddy with red eyes will kill you. And of course, you must avoid animatronics in each of these different rooms, as if you take too long to move to a different room, you may end up dying. So, yeah, definitely make it to that room. That is pretty much the end of the gameplay experience, and may I say, it does end with a high note and is really freaking cool. I love the new gameplay. I love the expansion of animatronic repair, which is definitely my personal favorite thing in this entire game. I love the whole introduction of vent repair, and of course a lot of the different things they did with the original games in the crazy world. So yeah, this game already innovates on what the old games were, and of course has its own unique gameplay and stuff. So really cool. And did I also forget to mention that this takes place in VR? I know I said it a million times, but I'm going to say it again. This is all in VR. But of course, you can play it without VR, meaning you can pretty much choose if you want to play it in VR or not. But anyways, though, with that said, let's get on to the new animatronic designs. As I will only go through two of them, which is the plush babies and Glitch Chat, mainly because it would be difficult to actually explain otherwise. But yes, in terms of designs, the plush babies are really freaking creepy, actually. I really dislike them because of how creepy and annoying they are, and is actually the one minigame of this entire game that I think is really difficult, especially the Crazy World one, where all the plushies are literally plush babies. Like, it's very hard to tell which ones are which. But I did it because I am too pro. Anyways, with that said, though, then there's Glitch Chat, which is the main antagonist of this game, and may I say, pretty freaking creepy antagonist, as he's almost makes his presence known throughout most of the game, as you can actually just turn to the right and see him as you play more and more of these games and complete more of the nights, he gets closer and closer and closer until he tries to brainwash you, which you then must, of course, press the button and trap him inside this game, which pretty much is the end of the game. So, yeah, really freaking cool. Anyways, there are a bunch of features that also forgot to talk about, such as collectibles in the form of tapes, which of course you can listen to and get the lore out of, and of course coins, which you can use to actually go to the prize corner and actually unlock goodies such as an 8-ball, a Freddy mask, cockroaches, and of course, any basketballs and cups. Just kind of random stuff, honestly. And of course, after beating each game, you can also get either a plushies, action figures, cake, toys, food, and drinks, and sometimes even a surprising jump scare. And of course, all this can be featured in the game corner itself. So, prize corner itself. So, yeah. Pretty freaking interesting too. But with all of that said, let's get onto the flaws with the game. And I don't really think this game has any flaws whatsoever, actually. It does everything pretty well. And you could say that it being a nostalgia trip is a flaw. I don't personally find it to be a flaw at all, honestly, as it also has its own unique gameplays and different nights that are different from what you've seen before, such as vent repair and the introduction of the plush babies, playing peekaboo with Baby in Fnaf 4, and of course the expansion of sister locations animatronic repair. This game innovates in many different ways, keeping it from just being a nostalgia trip into something that's very unique. Not just being a nostalgia trip, but having its own different gameplays, and of course, changing a lot of the old gameplay that you've been used to for so long. And it even has its own very cool climax of a mini game at the end. Of course, literally being you going through a lot of the different locations, trying to find your way to the back room to have your birthday party with Glitch Trap. And of course, having to avoid a lot of animatronics and make it through a giant labyrinth. So, yeah, this game is very innovative. It expands and it introduced 2 new characters and of course introduced some new mechanics and gameplay, along with of course being a nostalgia trip in itself. And I'm not saying that as it's a bad thing, as it wasn't even a bad nostalgia trip. It was a really freaking cool and unique nostalgia trip, of course including VR and changing the old formula of games in the crazy world. So I don't really see any real flaws with this game, so let's just get to the climax. So let's just get to the conclusion. In conclusion, FNAF VR or FNAF Help Wanted is a really solid FNAF game, at least in my opinion. It is not my go-to FNAF game, but that doesn't mean it's bad. It's still really cool. It is a nostalgia trip, but a really fun nostalgia trip that includes VR, expanding on previous ideas, and of course, introducing us to its own gameplay and unique nights. And not just that, of course, also giving us a climactic ending with, of course, having to trap Glitch Trap in the files of the game. And not just that, of course, introducing us to these new animatronics such as the plush babies and Glitch Trap, which are honestly really cool additions, especially the plush babies, which add a whole creepy factor of just plushies coming to life and killing you. I'm looking at the plushies behind me right now. They better not freaking attack me. But, yeah. This game's not bad. If you're looking for a fun, awesome, really good nostalgia trip of a game that also includes its own unique gameplays and expanding on previous ideas, I would definitely recommend FNAF VR, as you can also play it in VR. Did I keep forgetting to mention that? But yes. And in conclusion, this game is solid. It does a lot of its things right and pretty much does what it's supposed to aim for. If that makes any sense at all. I don't think that makes sense. I think I just mean this game does what it aims for. Yes, that's the proper sentence structure. This game aims to be a cool nostalgia trip in VR, and it does succeed in that circumstance, and of course is unique in itself. So yeah, FNAF VR is really good. I definitely recommend it, especially after you play the other games, as I definitely recommend you play these in order, as these newer games that come after FNAF 6 just expand more and more after FNAF 6's lore ended. So yeah, and the story itself is completely unique and changes the whole lore aspect on its head, going from all these lost souls and dead kids and murdering into VR horror games that just creepy bunny entities and of course brainwashing of all things. But yeah, definitely goes its own different direction with the lore, and I think it's a really good change of lore. It changes a lot of what we've learned throughout the past few years and completely turns it up on its head with its own unique story, backstory, and of course gameplay. But hey, that's the end of the review. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of FNAF VR Help Wanted. I know this ending was kind of anticlimactic as I started messing up words and sentences, but I was just trying to finish this as I kind of ran out of things to say about the game other than it's fine. I don't hate it. It's not bad. It's really good. But yeah. Anyways, let me make sure to stay tuned for part 9, the semi-finale to the FNAF review series, which I'll be reviewing, well, doing a short review on FNAF Security Breach, and it's going to be a short review because I've already done a review on it before, and I'll explain more on this in the actual FNAF Security Breach review, so definitely stay tuned for that. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit the notification button so you never miss a video, and stay safe, have a great day and or night, and I'll see you guys in the next stream, video, and or post. Later, Gators! Oh my god, that was just messy. Unlike that skin, a step too far.